Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. In this video, I would like to show you how I will do part modeling of this main casing of our big Frother Solidworks project. So one of my students, their main Frother is as shown here. So if you look here, the shape of their main casing is more like organic shapes. So in this video, I would like to show you how I will do this to make this part modeling of this main casing. Okay, let me show you. Alright, before we start modeling in Solidworks, if you show in this image here, so I have already put a rough estimation. Since I don't have this make Frother with me, there is one of my students, so I simply guess the size of the make Frother casing here. As long the size that I put here, it can contain the two AAA batteries inside the casing. So to make this modeling of this casing, as you can see here, I estimate at the end here is with diameter 10 is a full circle, and we have another level here. I will put the cross section of an ellipse of the size of length 30 by 22, and at the middle it kind of like a smaller ellipse here with a size of 27 by 20 length and width, and at the back at the end of the of this casing here with the length of 90 here, we have bigger ellipse with the length of 38 and 22. So I just estimate the level here about 55 units from the second plane here to put my second ellipse, my first ellipse here. Another 17 here level here of the plane for me to put the middle ellipse, which is smaller one. And at the end of the bigger ellipse is at the end of the total length of this casing, which is 90. Okay, let me show you in Solidworks. Right, hold on. Okay, if I go for the top plane, for me to sketch, I just make a center line here from the top plane, center line from this origin point, put it vertical here, and the total length is 90. It means the total length of the casing is 90. Alright, so I will exit the sketch. Alright, let me go for standard ISO view. Alright, as you can see here in the first one, the first plane, at the end of this length 90 here, at the end here I will put a plane with where I create a circle of diameter 10. So here I will put a plane by under switches we have reference geometry plane, so I will click at the line and the dot. So this will be my first plane. So here I will create a sketch of a circle by diameter of 10. So this is 10. Right, let me exit this one. So okay, if you look here, the second level of my plane is 55, where I will create a circle 30 by 22. So I will create another plane. This will be my first reference, and the next reference is by distance of 55. So at this level, okay, I can off this plane. Okay, at this plane 2 here, I will create a sketch. So here I will create an ellipse there. Make sure it start at the center, make sure that it goes. Sometimes the ellipse is not always goes for horizontal, just simply I click anywhere like this and like that, then I click select, make sure that these two quadrants you must set it to horizontal, right? So here, as you can see, my rough estimation, the length of the width, and the length is 30 and the width is 22. So I will put the dimension from here to here is, as I mentioned just now, is 30. So this one will be 30. The length is 30 and the width and the width is, the width is 22. Right, so I will exit this sketch. So, right. So this will be my cross section of my ellipse, but is, as you can see here in this photo here, we have kind of like, let me draw here. I need to create, because since we have a straight path here. This is a straight line, and then we have a curve here. So the idea of me creating this outline first at this age here, for me to align the second ellipse and also the third ellipse. Alright, to make sure that, because since this is a straight line, but here we have a spline, a curve, and it converges to diameter 10. So here in my Solidworks again, so what I will do here, so I will go for, okay, let me off this for a while. So at the top plane, since the top plane laying at the middle, I will create a sketch. Okay, at this sketch plane, I'm now sketching on this top view here, since top view is laying in the middle. So at this sketch plane here, I will create a line. Make sure I zoom in, my line really snap at that quadrant, and it goes, make sure it is horizontal in this direction, like this. Okay. And here, I must make sure at this point and this point are in line in terms of the level here. So it will be horizontal. So it means maintain in line with this endpoint of the main axis. Right, if I go to perpendicular view or normal view, so I would create a spline here from this point and make sure that it snap. Okay, since here we don't have a quadrant here, actually I don't have to draw a quadrant point here. If I click like this, so this is my 2-point spline. If I click this point and I select this circle, I make pierce, it will go to the quadrant of that circle. Alright, the only thing that I need to do is to make sure that in normal view, this is not straight edges, this is more like a curve, so I can control here, I can adjust it by this handle. Okay, another thing that we need to set is this curve and this line must be tangent. Alright, so that would be my, I have one guided rails here for me, because later I will do loft to make this casing. So I exit this sketch. Alright, I on back this plane. Alright, if you look at this photo again, so the second level of my plane will be 17, and I have to create ellipse 27, 20. So I will create reference geometry plane. I will create, okay, let me clear back this one. Okay, my first reference is this plane, and if you see the level is 17, so I will put off 17 here. So this will be my second plane here. Now I can off this plane too. So for this plane 3, I will create a sketch. I will draw an ellipse. Okay. Okay, just watch me carefully. So how do I create ellipse? I'm not, the ellipse of my second ellipse here will not be at the origin. So I just simply draw an ellipse somewhere around here, make it like this, and alright, for this one, this point, I need to make this quadrant of the ellipse must touch this line. So the relation that I need to do is I select this point and I select this line. So I put it make pierce. Make pierce, it means that the quadrant will be snapped at the edge of this, the quadrant of this point will snap at this line. Right, so I have to maintain the ellipse here, it have straight path here. So the dimension of the ellipse is 27 by 20. If you look here, is 27 by 20. Okay, before I put dimension, another relation I need to do is this point of ellipse must be horizontal. Alright, so I put the dimension, the length is, hold on, dimension from here is 27. Hold on, it's not updating, and from this point and this point is 20. Right, I exit the sketch. So now I have, as you can see, the ellipse maintain a line with this line. All right, for the second level, it should be, my plane should be at the end there. So my first reference is this plane, and another second reference will be the end point. You cannot snap, make sure it's snap at that point. So this will be my plane 4. So let me off this plane. So this plane 4, I'll do the same. I will do an ellipse, but the size of this ellipse is much bigger. I put it like that. Okay, I can drag this ellipse here. Okay, right, never mind. So at this point and this line, I set it make pierce, so it maintains that the quadrant of ellipse will snap at that line. And also I need to set the relation of this point of the ellipse, and this point must be horizontal. And the dimension of the ellipse is 38 by 22. So here is 38. And from here to here is 22. All right, now I can exit my sketch. So I have 3 cross section that let me exit my sketch, and I can off this plane. So as you can see, all the ellipse at the end there is snapped to this straight segment here. All right, okay, the next thing to do for me is to do another guided rails. As you can see, it's the same thing at the top plane here. At the top plane, since the top plane is laying in the middle, so at the top plane I make a sketch. So here I will make sure that I do a spline at this top plane. One spline is here. Later I can set here to pierce, and this one must be snapped at this quadrant, and this one will be snapped at that quadrant, and here it will snap at that quadrant. All right, about here, this point and this circle here, I set the relation to make pierce, so it means that it will snap to that quadrant of that circle. Okay, another thing to do at the top plane, here I need to adjust. I can control, adjust the handle, so I have kind of like the curvature, like as shown in this photo. We have a curve here, right? And also another thing is about this handle. This is important. This handle, I need to set here the relation. If I click at the arrow again, I have to make it vertical. So it maintains the tangency to the vertical axis. This is very important. So make sure you have to do this. Okay, let me go for ISO view to do some basic adjustment. All right. I also can adjust if I go back to the top view here. It's the way how you control, you want the curvature, you want it to be. For example, like this one, I can little bit do some adjustment here. Okay, another thing, maybe I can set this arrow. I make it vertical, so it maintains kind of like tangency there. If you look if the curvature is not right, maybe you can adjust it either by dragging this point, or you can adjust either here or here. You can adjust it to make sure that it looks, the curvature is kind like you have the shape as shown of your casing. Okay, let me do some basic adjustment again. Maybe this one is too much, so kind like we have the flow of the curve. Right, maybe here also I can set the vertical, and here this is too much. Let me drag it something like this. So you have kind of like the shape that you want. So this is a matter of how you do the tweaking. Okay, let's say I go for this. So this will be my second guided curve. All right, my next move is that I have to create another guided rails. If you look at this level, I have to make a guided rails will pass through this quadrant point of the circle, and also it will touch at that quadrant of that circle. I mean, the guided rail that will pass this quadrant point of these three ellipses, and also it will snap at that quadrant of the circle. So I have not yet made a point there here of the circle. So it means that I need to create. I edit the sketch of my circle here. I need to add a quadrant point at the top, and also at the. I don't need bottom since I can do mirror later. So I just need it at the top only. So okay, now I have the quadrant point of the circle. Okay, for me to create these guided rails, as you can see, all this point here is not laying on the same plane, so it involves 3D space. So for this case, I have to create a 3D sketch. So I will go under sketch here, we have 3D sketch. I'm now in the 3D sketch mode, so then I will do spline. So my first spline will snap, which way snap at that quadrant. Second spline will snap at that quadrant. Third point will snap at that quadrant, and the last point will snap at that quadrant. All right, so I have the spline here. Okay, this is also important. This is my ISO view. If I go for top view or normal view of my spline, so if you look, the flow of the spline is kind of like not in the right orientation. So I do some adjustment to make sure that we have the flow here kind of like this. All right, okay. Another thing that is important is that here the last point of my spline, the handle here, if I click at the arrow, I have to set. If I click again, if you look under setting here, I have to make sure it kind of like tangency to the, if you look at the axis is Z direction, make sure that it's along Z direction. So it means that when you do loft, it maintains the tangency in terms of Z direction. So I just select here on the left here along Z. Along Z, it means we have it maintains the tangency to the Z direction. So this is very important. Next thing to do, if I look on the front view, hold on. If I look on the front view, as you can see here, the curve, the flow of the curve is not that good, because I think the curve is too much going upward and it passed the limit of this point. So I need to, one thing I can do is that I can select this arrow here. I double click at it. If you see here, the horizontal axis is Z axis, so I make it along Z. So it maintains continuity to this horizontal axis, which is along Z. But I think the flow here is still not that good, so I have to adjust this control handle. I make it a little bit downward like this. Right, so I think this one is good enough. Okay. Okay, for the bottom curve, I don't have to do this again. So what I need to do is just, I simply mirror it. So here I'm still under the sketch, editing this 3D curve. So we have mirror entities. So entities to mirror is this 3D curve, and mirror about, I will use the, the top plane. Since the top plane is laying in the middle, then I click OK. So I have now the top curve and also the bottom curve to be used as my guided rail for me to do loft. So let me exit here. Okay, basically I have all the construction curve for me to do loft. But one more thing, I found out that since at the beginning, as you can see here, this line, I create the first line at the beginning is construction geometry. So I need to edit it. I need to change it back to solid line. So this is important because I found out that when you do loft, by doing the thing, at the end you need to select the center axis, the center rail. So it need to be solid line, not center line. So it can, if you use center line, sometimes it cannot detect the center axis. All right, now I will do loft. Okay, under the features here, we have loft. Okay, so here is the setting on the left. Here is about loft. The first thing is about the profile. When you do loft, okay, the rule of loft, when you select the profile, is about cross section. So we have 4 cross section, the circle and the 3 ellipse. All right, when you select the profile, it must be in order. You cannot jump first and to the third profile. It must in order. Okay, another rule is that when you select, if I select the first profile, which is the circle, I select at the right side of it. I mean the next cross section, the profile, this ellipse, I will select on the right side of it, and so goes to the other cross section. So it maintains the alignment. Alright, so under the profile here, the first one, I will select the curve on the right side, and I will select this ellipse on the right side of it, and the third ellipse, I will select on the right side of it, and the last ellipse I will select on the right side of it. So as you can see, we have our lofted surface, and it's not it's maintained in line. Okay, roughly we have the shape of our loft, but we still need to have to select the 4 guided curve that we have already created. Okay, here, setting on the left here, under the guide curve here, okay, the first guided curve, I will select the top one. Okay, to select this guide curve, I have to use a right-click mouse, selection manager. Sometimes the selection manager is not shown here. You have to click at this cursor arrow here. So we have here selection manager. So make sure, since all the 4 guided curve that I've created is an open curve, it is an open loop. It's not a closed curve. Closed curve is like a circle, is a closed curve, and ellipse also is a closed curve. But all the 4 guided curve that we have created is open curve. Make sure under this setting here, I use the second one, open loop. Then I select this top curve. Then I click OK. So it is listed here, the first curve. The next one, I use right-click mouse, click cursor here. You have selection manager. Make sure open curve. Select the bottom one. Click OK. All right. As you can see, the loft, it follow all the top and the bottom curve as guided curve. So the next one, I will select the front and also at the back. Okay, use selection manager. Right-click mouse. Use selection manager. Make sure it's open curve and select at the back there. Click OK, and right-click mouse. I mention again to you, to remind you, sometimes it's not showing you. Make sure you click at the cursor here, like this, and then it shows selection manager. Make sure it's open curve. Select this guided rail, then click OK. As you can see now, the loft follow all the 4 cross section and also all the 4 guided curves. All right. Okay, the last thing to do about center line parameter here. So this is the center axis that we have created from the beginning. So I've already changed it to solid line. When you make this one center line, it cannot detect it. So I will use use selection manager, open curve, then I select this as my center line parameter. Okay, if I click OK, now I have the shape of this casing, of this organic shape of this make Frother casing. All right, I think it looks nice. Let me check on the top view like this. As you can see, the result is good. You follow the straight line like this and follow the curve. If I check from this view, yeah, I think this is good. All right, so this the result from the loft. Okay, the last thing is to do is about the at the back here. If you look from the image here, we have at the back we have curve here. So what I will do, I will fillet it. Okay, under features here we have fillet. I will go for radius 5. Then I will select this face. I think 5 is good. Then I click OK. Okay, now we have the resulting body of this organic shape of this make frother casing. Okay, the last thing I need to show is that I can split this main casing into two, top casing and bottom casing. To do that, I will do insert features and I will do split. Okay, split. Okay, the trim tools is about the cutting plane here. I can select my, actually not necessary to be plane. You can use any curved line to be as your cutting curve for you to do split. For in this case, my top plane, since the top plane is cutting at the middle there, so top plane is already selected, then I click at cut part. So here under the resulting bodies, so we have, if I check both, so this is the two resulting bodies for me to split. But do not check consume cut. If you check at consume cut, it means you selected these two bodies to be deleted, to be removed. Make sure you uncheck it. We need just to split only. We don't want to split and remove. So make sure uncheck the consume cut bodies. Okay, make sure this both is selected, is checked here. Then I click OK. Okay, now I have, if you look the feature manager here, if you look under solid bodies, we have two here. If I open the cursor here, we have split one, the top casing, and split two is the bottom casing. Alright, if I select the top casing here, then I do isolate, then I can do shell. Okay, shell under the features here, we have shell. Okay, basically most of the plastic casing, the shell, I think the thickness will be 1.5. About 1.5 millimeters. So I will select this face and this face to be removed, to be shelled. So we have my top casing. Okay, let me isolate, and for the bottom casing, for the bottom object here, I will do shell. Okay, the thickness also 1.5. I select this face and the face. Now I have the bottom casing. Right. Okay, Alhamdulillah, I have completed this organic shape of this make frother. I hope this video really helps you guys to do your part modeling of your casing. Okay, inshallah in the next video, I will do a lot more videos to help you guys for your Solidworks project. But before that, please do subscribe and like my channel. To all subscribers, you have the advantage to be automatically notified. Whenever I do a new video, I update a new video, you will be notified. So please do not forget to click like and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching this video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.